What is up, my friends? Cubs fan Han back again for a Galaxy of Heroes guide, and today I'm gonna be going into my bag of tricks and sharing with you guys 5 tips and tricks you may be missing in your Galaxy of Heroes play to help you up it to the next level. Let's go! Alright, my friends, so like I said, in this video, I'm going to be going over 5 tips and tricks that you may be missing in Galaxy of Heroes. Starting with tip number 1, refresh your mod store. Now, all of you know there is no secret that mods are essential to your arena team and to the game in general, especially when it comes to speed stats. Now, the hardest thing about speed stats, of course, is that it's hard to find good enough speed secondary. In more seasoned shards, you're going to need to have plus 10 minimum speed secondary on everybody, ideally more like plus 12, 13, 14, 15 and above on those teams. It's really hard to find those, and if you're farming exclusively in the Cantina store, you're going to waste effort on characters that you want to farm in those stores, and also you're going to have low benefit because it takes a long time to find anything worthwhile in there. And so once you build up a decent store of mods, I recommend abandoning all mod farming and focusing exclusively on this store. Now, a lot of people feel like that's not enough because it takes a long time for the store to refresh and that kind of thing. But notice here, right down in the bottom right, 15 crystals to refresh the store is all it takes. And so I recommend every day coming in here, saving your credits. I'm actually depleted on credits because I bought 2 mods today, but saving enough ship credits and enough regular credits so that you can buy a mod. You want to have about 4 to 5 million regular credits, and you want to have about 2 to 3 million ship credits minimum at any given point in time, so you can go in here and look in your store and find mods that have guaranteed speed secondary. And so if we look in here, I haven't looked at these yet. That's you know, decent, but no speed secondary. Boom. Okay, this is what you're looking for. Wow, and I don't have the credits for that. Makes me upset. An offense square with 5 speed secondary. So I already know this mod is going to have a minimum of 5 speed secondary. If I buy the mod and then I upgrade it to level 12, I will have chances for that speed to upgrade, which will, having that starting point with the guaranteed speed dramatically increases the chances of you having good speed secondary. Now, if you look over here at my Grandmaster Yoda, I have all of my best speed secondary on Yoda because he is on my arena team. This mod right here, plus 18 speed, found it in that store. This mod right here, plus 21 speed, found it in that store. And then, not to mention, this mod as well, plus 19 speed. All of those are my best speed secondary mods I've ever found, and I find them in that store. And almost every single mod has come after refreshing probably 5 to 10 times per day in this store, so I recommend doing that. You're gonna have a lot of misses, but you'll have a much higher chance of finding those speed secondary mods that you desperately need to have on your arena team. Tip number 2, speaking of mods, is to mod with crouching Rancor. Now, this is really, really helpful, and I did not learn this until a couple months ago, and wow, it has dramatically increased how solid I feel the mods are on my arena team, because you really want to maximize your potential that you have in your roster for mods. Now, I did an entire video on this, so I recommend checking the link above my head right now for a more detailed breakdown on how to use this tool. But going over to that tool right now, just in summary, if you go to the mods manager and put your ally code in here, it will pull all of your mods. Then you can filter your mods by speed secondary. And now right here, I'm going to see every single speed secondary I've got and who has it. That will help you identify where the best mods are so you can move them onto your arena team. And I do recommend putting all of the best, I mean, if you look at all of my best speed here, it takes a while before you find a character that is not on my arena team. Thrawn has the best one, but that's because I don't even need that mod on my arena team. Ezra, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda, General Kenobi, Bastila, Darth Vader. There we go. Darth Vader plus 14 speed is the next one. All of these best speed secondaries I've got loaded up on my arena team. And then you can also use a squad simulator here. If you click right there, then you can assign these mods to different teams that you customize, and it will give you a breakdown of who needs to move, which mod to move from which character to which character. Very, very helpful tool. Again, I'm not going to break it down in detail. Check out that video that I did already, but that is an incredible tip to help you guys maximize your mods on your arena team. Tip number 3 is going to be to use crystals for gear. Now, some of you that aren't finishing as high in arena or aren't spending any money on crystals may not benefit from this as much. If you're not in that camp, I do recommend prioritizing your arena team so you can make more crystals daily, so you can start doing this. Otherwise, you may be limited to refreshes for those crystals so you can get your 600. But assuming that you are able to have enough crystals, I feel like this store is very, very valuable for gear. It really helps you boost your gear farm. For example, if you are needing these Mark 6 droid collars, you can buy 25 of them for 700 crystals. Not a bad deal if you are needing to gear up a character, help you boost that farm. These more expensive gear pieces I usually can't afford, so I kind of ignore them. But pieces like maybe I'm just a holo projector away, 600 crystals really isn't that much to get to holo projectors, stun guns, those are a big one. These Marathon shield generators are big. The crystal premium on those is not super expensive. I really love buying these gold balls. This is probably the best deal in the game for crystals, in my opinion. 375 crystals is not much, and that's half of your farm for that, especially because the other piece of it you get in the daily challenges, so you're going to have plenty of those. That's a great way to allocate your crystal spending after the refreshes, which are going to be pretty essential. Tip number 4 is to do your favorites tab right. Now, favorites, in my opinion, this is just me, it's not my favorite characters. It's a way to prioritize who I am farming at any given point in time. I mean, right now, if you look at my favorites, obviously First Order is not my favorite. Sith is not. I don't have any Jedi my favorite. The reason why is because I'm done farming my Jedi. I've got them ready. I don't need to worry about them on my character screen right now. Now, sometimes I will if I had Bastila up here in my favorites for a while just because I like looking at her. I mean, she made my Jedi so viable. I love her. Not to mention she's just an awesome character in general. But here's how I recommend doing your favorites. I recommend only having about 5 there. Now, for those of you who are wailing out, you're able to farm a ton of characters at once, this may not apply to you. But for those of us who are more free to play, maybe dolphins or small fish, we're not spending a whole lot of money on this game, you can't spread yourself too thin farming. For a couple reasons, it'll overwhelm you, but it will also stunt your progress in the game if you spread yourself too thin. So I focus on about 5 characters at once, and here's how I have this broken down. Darth Sion is going to be my hard node farm. And so the whole reason he's there is just because every day I go in here, I go to find, I go to his hard node and his ship node, I simulate those battles and grab his shards. That is the only reason he's there. So I recommend putting your hard node farm here first. Then I recommend putting your Cantina node farm in here. My Cantina node farm right now is crew. So I put him here, and then I sim these battles. It looks like I got a few available. I did some a little bit ago, but just some TIE Slicer shards. Oh well. So your Cantina farm next. And then I recommend having your top 3 gear farming priorities. Number 1 for me right now is Darth Trey. I recently unlocked her. I've got her at, let's see, 5 stars gear 11. I still want to fill these extra spots. And so I've got a few pieces of gear that I can give her, 2 of which aren't going to be equipped until I get her to 7 stars. So she is there for that. Once I finish that, I'm going to take her out of my favorites until I get her to 7 stars, and then I can put those other gear pieces on. I am also farming First Order right now, as you can see. And so the next 2 in line for my gear farm are going to be First Order Executioner and First Order Officer. So use your favorites tab to organize who your Cantina farm is, who your hard node farm is, and then who your top 3 gear farming priorities are. Finally, tip number 5 is to utilize the squad selector tool properly. Now, the way that I personally have this broken down is by game mode. So if I go in here to select a squad. Now, by the way, we need a button. I'm just going to go out of here. We need a button down here. Instead of train or mods down here, can we please have squad selector? Because I hate having to go into a battle in order to access this thing. Anyway, so if I go into squad selector, Here's how I have it broken down. This will save you a lot of time and effort in a lot of the game modes. I've got a tab for Territory Wars defense, a tab for Territory Wars offense. This is really important because when you go to set your teams, it's nice to just have those teams, but also know that you are saving the right offensive teams. I'm a bit slim pickings on offense because I have all of my best characters going on defense. My Traya team, which almost has a Zeta. I'm not using this team on defense yet. I'm actually putting Palpatine in there for now. And then also, you've got these characters on offense as well. So it's good to go down there and break down who's being used where, so that you know you're going to have some offensive teams for Territory Wars and you don't have to spend time racking your brain over, wait, did I use this person? Did I use that person? Am I good? That kind of thing. Draw it down. Now, constantly update this. Mine's actually a little bit out of date. I did just update Traya in there, but on my offense, for example, I need to find a way to work Palpatine in here probably because I'm not using him on defense anymore. And some of these teams are just, you know, hodgepodges of just what I've got left. And so definitely stay up to date updating those two tabs. The next one I've got is the Heroic Sith Raid. That I give its own tab, and I've got it organized by phase. Here's phase 1, here's phase 1 again, 2 Jedi teams. Here's my phase 2 team, and then here's my poor man's Chex Mix team because I haven't got my Death Trooper there yet. I was working on him, but then my guild got it on farm and it wasn't as essential, and I can do enough damage anyway. But whatever the case is, I don't have a Night Sister team ready, so I don't have a phase 4 team there. Again, my guild doesn't need it. If they did, I would probably focus a lot more heavily on that. But those are the teams that I throw at the raid. I don't need to worry about it. I just have them ready for me right there. My next tab is an other raid tab. So you can see here the top team is the Rancor team. That's an old solo team. I'm sure I've got a better one, but you know what? That works. I know it works, and so I leave it there. The second tab here is for Heroic Tank. I've got the Wampinator team here. That's really nice to have. And then I've got my Sacrificial Lamb, Ugnaught, just in case I miss the join period and I don't really have the energy to do the raid. My last two tabs are dedicated to light side territory battles and dark side territory battles. And I'm not going to bore you to tears on exactly how this is organized because you guys know which characters are needed. But basically, I'm going to have my Jedi team, my Rebel team, my Resistance team, and then my second Rebel team. And I do modify those a little bit based on, you know, sometimes you need Hoth Rebel Soldiers, sometimes you need Hoth Rebel Scout, etc. So there is a little bit of variance there, but it's, you know, I don't want to break down every single phase here. I just want to kind of generally have those teams there, and this helps me. Same for dark side territory battles. I've got just 4 Empire here because there's usually going to be that 5th character that they assign for you, and so I leave that spot open for that. There's my bounty hunters. They suck. That's been on my to-do list forever, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Here's my Sith team. Here's my Hodgepodge team. This is just kind of my catch-all. Sometimes I use Thrawn on my Empire team, like in the later phases, but in the earlier phases, I use him here on this team just so that I can spread myself out a bit more and get all those stars. And then there's my Troopers team. Some people will have an Arena tab. I personally only use one Arena team, and so I don't feel it necessary to have that there. But for those of you who maybe are running several teams in the Arena, good for you. It may benefit you to have an Arena tab as well. I personally do not. Some people have like a test tab. That can be nice too. Just put some teams that you're theory crafting or some farming priorities, that kind of thing. You can also use this for that. I personally just use the squad selector tab for these game modes. All right, my friends, I hope these tips and tricks were helpful for you. What are some other tips and tricks you guys have learned? Please just flood the comments with other tips. I am not the only person who plays this game and has these little tips and tricks. So please let us know down in the comments so we can all help each other get a little bit better at this game. If the tips were helpful, please let me know. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, my brothers, don't forget.
My dead body. Sorry about the mess.